All right, so it's Dobbs month.
Dobbs month.
So here's the part of the show where we talk about just the huge lump of teams wadded up like gum in the NFC that are trying to get in the wild card game. And hey, hand up. I didn't know. A couple reasons I didn't know the Vikings were going to be this good. Number one, like the Lions win total, that's going over easy. Got a Resto Hardware Chase Lounge on that. And then got like a sectional as well on the Vikings under. But they're going to hit the over, dude.
Yep.
It's just I was wrong
in this winning streak.
I was wrong about this team. Kevin O'Connell was right about this team. Imagine that. The coach knows better than a guy with a podcast. But I just didn't see it, especially with Justin Jefferson going down and getting to the trade deadline. I thought with the way Kirk's situation is going into next season, I think part of the confirmation bias for me was coming into the season, you look at that defense, it's Hunter, but it's a lot of unproven guys, a ton of blitzing. I didn't think the guys would be able to hold up outside. I just want to say this about the defense. 0-3 start, and this is from Kevin Seifert of ESPN. 0-3 start. Since then, the defense is fourth in points allowed, fifth in defensive efficiency, fifth in defensive EPA, fifth in takeaways, seventh in yards per game.
Damn.
Brian Flores, and I knew this because I played for Brian Flores, is not only a fucking great guy, but a great coach and a guy who should be a head coach in this league again. And he's proven that the way he's turned this defense around. And you know, like we're going to talk about Josh Dobbs, but I wanted to give them props. I think they've been great lately. And on offense, the Ewing theory is playing out. Not that I believe it. You know, I think Justin Jefferson needs to get back, and they're going to look really good.
So what you're saying is I'm right.
Well, you want to say what you told people?
Well, they should be knowing what I fucking said because I said Justin Jefferson should be on the trade block.
Well, it's too late for that. But around the deadline, you were saying, you're like, if I was GM, I'd get all the picks I could for Justin Jefferson.
Imagine having 3 good players instead of 1 great player.
Well, that's what Carolina thought. That's what Chicago thought. You know, that's my point is like, you know, draft capital is draft capital. You got this special guy here. I know that we were thinking sell at the deadline, but I'd rather do that with Hunter. You know, I don't know. This guy is a quarterback's best friend. Now, they've been making hay with Addison and Hawkinson and all the Suns. They had a great game yesterday, the both of them. But the big thing is Josh Dobbs. And, you know, like after that dangerous throw to Addison early that doesn't get picked, I feel like he was like, okay.
The prophecy is correct.
Okay. It was like the last game, he fumbled the ball. They almost ran it back for a touchdown. He's out there doing a bunch of dumb shit. He survived. Like he has 9 lives. And then he's out there running around like a cat, flushed 3rd and 5 to Hawkinson in the second quarter. Beautiful play. 3rd and 6 in the red zone. Alontae Taylor's like, oh, fuck, I did see that highlight last week. Oh, I'm the guy in the Josh Dobbs movie. He's going to sit me down at the 3-yard line and scramble in the end zone for a touchdown. So the Dobbs magic just continues, including that throw to Hawkinson over Demario Davis's head.
Oh, man.
24,
it was like
just layering.
3 inches above his fingertips.
This guy's a good quarterback. And here's the thing about saying good quarterback, bad quarterback. You got to have a coach that can get the best out of you. And he did that a week ago with no preparation. O'Connell did it again this week with a full week. Their offense really looked good. Like, it wasn't like some flash-in-the-pan shit. It looked better than it did last week against Atlanta in that, like, they just put together a full game plan and they whooped these guys' asses early. This did not become a game until Derek Carr got fucking leveled, and then the Jameis magic started. Me and Nate were watching. That Olave touchdown in the corner of the end zone and the red zone ball that he threw across the field.
The high point ball?
Buddy. Like, Jameis was out there like it was Florida State.
Fuck
I mean,
let me ask you this.
Until the picks.
It has to be that the Saints just aren't trying to give him up because why hasn't someone tried to grab him? Like, I feel like Jameis is probably...
Inside job.
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Jameis, you don't think Jameis could be doing better for the Jets right now,
bro?
No,
there's certain teams.
You're right,
absolutely right. Do I think that Jameis and Garrett Wilson would connect for 2 tuds every game? 1,000%.
1,000%. Here's the deal, and nobody was talking about him. You make a great point. Nobody was talking about going to get Jameis Winston. Maybe they
We
thought
got Cam Newton making demands on Instagram, but fucking Jameis Winston's just sitting on the bench behind Taysom Hill.
in
and
wingdings in that font, bro.
Yeah, wingdings.
Send over a 3rd round pick
He
else.
had to use the King's English in order to put $8 million a year.
Yeah.
He had to switch from wingdings to go back to millions.
Pounds.
I love it though. He's sticking to it, so I love it.
No, listen, this game was almost a classic. Ultimately, it was like early in the game on one of the first downs, Metellus comes through the A gap and blows up Derek Carr, and they're off the field. And then late in the game, that fateful interception, the second to last one, Metellus up the middle, same track. Kamara just doesn't pick him up, and it's a punt. And it's the same thing at the end of the game. I don't think he needed to throw that ball, that last pick, and that's the Jameis that you're like, oh, fuck, well, that's why you're, but fair or unfair, I thought he gave them a chance to win. And for the Vikings to close another game out on defense, pretty good. I mean, and they ran the ball. They ran the ball for 125 yards. They had one read option where they got the back leading Josh Dobbs out into the flat. I mean, like they really ran the ball. They had a good plan, and they look like a serious team.
Dobbs
that's 6-4.
Yep.
Dobbs 3 straight games with at least 1 passing and 1 rushing touchdown, including his last game with Arizona. The only players with longer streaks since 1970 merger: Justin Fields, Kyler Murray, Michael Vick. So I mean, the things that Kevin O'Connell
There's a wide
sees,
range in there.
the thing that Kevin O'Connell sees with this guy, Josh Dobbs, is he can do a bit of everything, and when called upon to do something, he has faith that he's smart enough and good enough to get it done.
Got to be a great feeling for Dobbs, like to jump into an organization. Obviously, the chips fell in his way right away with the guy in front of him getting hurt and them getting pushed in. But for a coach and an organization, just 2 weeks in to be like, hey, we're kind of this is
Like
the
he
hand we're
feels
dealt.
like he might be the guy at least for the end of the season.
This is the hand we're dealt. So like, hey, we're going all in.
Yeah.
We're going all in and hoping the dealer bust every time. And that's what's kind of going on. And it's one of those things now, the trickle down of the team feeling like, hey, our starting quarterback is hurt with Cousins going out, but now, hey, we actually might have a guy, and our star receiver isn't back yet. Like, we might be able to do something. And when that starts to happen in the locker room, guys start to work out and more and watch tape more and do all the little things that it could be an exciting
It changes
season
the
for them.
whole mood in the building.
Yep.
And from going from the trade deadline where they go out and get Josh Dobbs to now, like the mood has to be 180 degrees different from where Kirk Cousins gets hurt and you think, oh, the season's over. Mensa making 2 really good moves 2 years in a row at the deadline for Hawkinson and then for Dobbs this year. Like, they're doing the right things up there. And I got to say, like, something about being wrong. When you're wrong about a team. And some of you will be like, all right, now we're doing this, but I'm going to do this. Who do you trust more, Minnesota or Seattle?
Minnesota.
Damn.
Right? Who do you trust more, Tampa or Minnesota? Minnesota.
Minnesota, no doubt.
Who do you trust more, Atlanta and New Orleans or Minnesota?
Minnesota.
So, I mean, like, I know it's a small sample size. I know it's the Saints who you absolutely can't trust. I don't care if the Saints are like, here, I got $1 million for you. There's a catch. Like, they just cannot be trusted. You needed 5 takeaways to beat Bajent and the Bears last week. It's the same thing this week. You didn't get the takeaways, and here we are. You get run out of the gym almost by the Minnesota Vikings, led by Josh Dobbs.
Big kudos to Josh Dobbs for taking full advantage. There's not enough guys in the league. There's a big number of guys in the league who are good players. They don't take advantage of the marketing side of the NFL. They don't get their name out there, their face, their brand out there. Josh Dobbs, whoever's in charge of his socials, they've done a great job of introducing him to people who are just scrolling Twitter and not watching the football games. I mean, he's awesome. He's on TikTok. He's making all kinds of
TikToks
highlights. People love him.
It's
People
the
love
kind of
guy.
story. It's the kind of story. Maybe they don't win a Super Bowl or anything like that, but it's the kind of story that's good for the league.
Yep.
For you look at the
took over the league's headliner, took over the Swifties. They had the Swifties up there.
He beat the Swifties.
And now they put
Josh
the
Dobbs
Paxton up.
saved us from the Swifties.
Saved it. Who would have thought?
I don't know.
I hate looking ahead this far,
Buzz
but I can totally
Aldrin.
see Josh Dobbs on a desk somewhere. And this situation here, like
like
the
talking.
popularity that he's
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
could catapult him.
He's
Now-
going to get paid first.
No.
Well,
Somebody's going to pay him something.
absolutely. And I hate to go down the road that far.
And-
He's got a long career ahead of him.
and
Roger Goodell, he's coming for your job.
President Josh Dobbs. Honestly,
and we're all
funny.
run Josh Dobbs out there. I'll fucking vote for him.
You can learn the system.
You can tell me I was taking votes away from the right guy, whatever. Fuck that shit. I'll vote for Josh Dobbs.
Let's go.
Y'all need a dose of reality here. I'm a rocket scientist that knows how to lead a 2-minute drive
Jesus.
and capture the hearts of 53 alpha men.
I'm rocked up for
Have
politics.
you heard him tell the story about how they told him he wasn't
Go
going
to
to
the rallies.
He wasn't going to be traded, and he just has no "woe is me" like in his tone of voice telling this story. And it's just one, like you said, like if you're not rooting for him, you probably have something off with you. Like
If
There's
you
something
thought
going
it
on
was
in
cool,
your,
it has
in your
to
life.
be. Yeah,
If you
it's-
thought
I have the Vikings under win total. I'm rooting for the guy.
exactly.
If you thought it was cool when Obama was like saucing guys up in basketball at the White House, just wait till a fucking football game.
And Josh Dobbs is just
Go long.
just breaking kids' ankles on the White House lawn. They got to stop the
Stiff arming Putin.
And then even his like the way he celebrates, it's
Flag.
like it's not too much, but it's like to show his teammates like, hey, like I'm here, guys. Like we could do this. Like I'm your guy right now, and it's from a player's like a ex-player's perspective to see you get that in 2 weeks, just outside looking in. That's special.
Bro, tell me we wouldn't win the second Cold War. Tell me. I mean, I got us minus 300 with Josh Dobbs as commander in chief. Like, fuck, he would do things with our Space Force.
Yeah.
Out of
Space
control.
Force.
You'd have a hell of
Shout out to
security
Space
detail.
Force.
Wait, what the hell is in season Hard Knocks doing? Because they need
made it.
they need to be just
Right.
following. They just need to be following Dobbs at this point now. In season Hard Knocks,
Bro,
That's it. They just
Netflix
need-
quarterback, biggest losers Netflix quarterback show if they didn't have Josh Dobbs. Next year they'll put Josh Dobbs on it and it probably comes back down to earth, you know?